Hello everyone, this is Genius Yoshi, and today we're building something fun. We're building Under the Sea. At least, that's what I thought when I started building this deck. So Under the Sea is a sing together. You can sing it with a bunch of characters, and you can essentially banish all of the opposing characters that cost 2 or less. Actually, you move them to the bottom of that player's deck. Alright, so that can be one-sided board wipe. But we need the opposing character's power to be 2 or less. And then that got me thinking. There seems to be quite a lot of abilities that have this 2 or less. In particular, we have the Sisus and Ruby that have a similar style of ability. But I've decided to go with Emerald and Amber for this list, for reasons that will become fairly clear as we move along the list. I'll play only 3 copies because it's an inkable, and it's a very high costed card to play on its own. Even just having the 8 lore of characters, 8 ink of characters on the battlefield is no easy task. But as I was going through the list of cards that have similar abilities, I stumbled across the Muses, Proclaimer of Heroes, ready to sing 0 to hero and get you grooving to the song. But the card is quite interesting. 2/4 Ward. Alright. Ward, not a problem. Bucky was not a problem with Ward. And their ability, whenever you play a song, return chosen character with 2 power or less to that player's hand. Then it got me thinking, we can repeat this, and as long as I keep my Muses unexerted, there's very few things that can go wrong. The opponent needs to play like 2 grab your swords or a be prepared to get rid of an unexerted Muses. And as long as we have that on the battlefield, we just need to play a song, sing it, or cast it. Whenever we do it, boom, bounce something. Okay. Well, we now have a board wipe that targets the 2 powers or less, and we have a repeatable source of bounce. Can we abuse the power of the Muses and kind of turn that into a loop? Well, let's see. Well, first off, it only applies to characters that have 2 power or less. So we're gonna have to do something about that. Also, it only triggers whenever we're playing a song, so we should take a look at the songs that we have available. Looking at them, the first one that comes to mind as being a core piece is Painting the Roses Red, and one of the main reasons to play Amber. It's a song, it replaces itself, and it powers down character's power. So with Painting the Roses Red, we can use Under the Sea or the Muses to target a character that has 3 power, which is quite important. So I'll be playing a full playset of Painting the Roses Red. And then, looking through the cards, I found this thing. Lost in the Woods. Normally a terrible card, but in this list has interesting potential. All opposing characters get -2 power until the start of the next turn. That means that we can Under the Sea or use the Muses to target anything that has 4 power or less. I know that may sound restrictive a little bit, but how restrictive is Madame Medusa? And that hits 3 or less. Now we're targeting 4 or less. So suddenly, we can use the Muses to bounce almost anything with these songs. Not to mention, Lost in the Woods and Painting the Roses Red are both songs. Alright. So we have 2 nice songs that'll do it. Actually, let's keep on looking at the songs. Let's just pick all the songs that are somewhat useful here. Be Our Guest, going to help us to pick our Muses or our other combo pieces as we'll build them. We can play Strike a Good Match, same thing. It's a song that replaces itself, helps us to find more songs or Muses or other combo pieces as needed. I'll play a pair of Bare Necessities to make sure the opponent doesn't have a pesky Be Prepared or a pair of Grab Your Swords to deal with our threats. We can play a pair of Heal What's Been Hurt because it's a cheap song that replaces itself. I'll play a pair of Mother Knows Best in case there's something big we need to bounce. And with the Muses, we sing it or we cast it and we get to double bounce for double success. Just a lot of tempo, or in this case, this is going to turn into a lock deck. So we want to keep the Muses on the battlefield, And then just whenever our opponent plays something, we bounce it back. You play something, we bounce it back. Turn after turn after turn, and the opponent can never stick anything to the battlefield, effectively being locked out of the game, unless they have very specific answers to our muses. Okay, and I think that's enough in terms of songs. I mean, even Under the Sea is a song, although if you're playing it, we don't overly care about the muses. So we have 25 songs in the 60 card deck. Seems good enough. We need card draw or ability to... Yeah, we need card draw. And the card draw that I would like to go for is under the form of two powerhouses. There's Ariel, Spectacular Singer. Helps us to sing songs above her weight. Also allows us to find songs from our deck, and we're already playing 25 songs in the deck, so Ariel is a perfect fit. There is also another perfect fit. Ursula, Deceiver of All. Allows us to double sing. And imagine that, if we take a look back at the songs that we have in our deck, they're almost all costing 3 or less, except Under the Sea and Lost in the Woods. But imagine Ursula double singing Painting the Roses a Red with muses on battlefield. That means you can bounce a 3 drop, bounce a 4 drop, and draw 2 cards for free. It's absurd, or very strong. I mean, there are counters, as we may or may not see in the games. Wink. But it seems pretty strong. Ursula's strong, Ariel's strong, and the muses just seem to complement these cards very well in an emerald song style of deck. Now we need to complete our list. So what about these big characters? Well, there's a card that caught my eye that I really want to try out. And it's this thing here, Record Player. Seems like garbage. Whenever you play a song, chosen character gets -2 power until the start of your next turn. Okay, but when we're playing a song, we get to bounce a character with weak power off of the trigger of muses, which means that the record player is going to trigger at the same time as the muses, and we get to pick the order in which we resolve the triggers. So as long as we have a record player in play, we can tone down the opponent's character's power to bounce them back, so they can't get outside of our lock, even with stronger characters. This is inkable and it's going to get inked most of the time. Also gives our Stitches +1 cost to sing songs, which means that Little Stitch New Dog is suddenly a 2 singer, which can sing a lot of things in our deck. So let's play a bunch of Stitch New Dogs. We also need cards, so we're going to be playing Stitch Rockstar with the usual wombo combo shifty shenanigans, which means that what we're looking for are cheap characters to fill the rest of our list. 11 of those. First one that comes to mind is Cinderella, Ballroom Sensation. She's a cheap singer. She sings above her weight. Seems like a nice inclusion. She also triggers Big Stitch. And then we want some Ursulas. It is her big return yet, until the Glimmering Skies, which is coming pretty soon. But now it's still Ursula's time. The clock hasn't hit midnight yet. These crystal shoes have not turned into pumpkins. And yes, so we're going to be playing Ursula, Vanessa, a 1/4 singer 4. She allows us to sing any of our songs with 4 willpower. And we're going to be playing a full playset of Ursula Deceiver. She sings our songs and denies our opponent some of these pesky board wipes that can mess with our strategy. And that's kind of what we're going to be going for. If we look, we don't really have a good way to win early. We don't have that much card draw. We rely on Stitch and a couple of cheap tricks like Ariel's and Ursula's to keep the flow of card going. And Painting the Roses Red, we do have quite a lot of songs that help the flow of cards to keep on going. But we can't take the game too long unless we stop our opponent from questing completely. And we can't end the game suddenly. So our game plan is land a muse, play a bunch of songs, keep on bouncing the opponent's board, or land under the sea, just wipe out our opponent's board, and then just keep on bouncing everything until we slowly quest the victory, either with a horde of small one questers as we watch our opponent go, I can't play anything, or the more quiet, I can't play anything. Same result. At that point, we just quest for 3-4 a turn until we win. That's game plan. Control at its finest without board wipes. Bounce control. And just keep bouncing around until we win. Let's see how it goes with some games in action coming right up. Let's see if this really works. Muses control, red's our opponent, black is us. We get outskilled by the 2-drop from our opponent. The roll of 2. As we pick up Ariel, Stitch, record player, Ursula. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Painting the roses red and a big Stitch. Alright, so we have small Stitch into big Stitch, which I really like. We have a nice 2-drop with Ursula. And then we have 2 options between the other Ursula and Ariel. A record player and painting the roses red as optional inkables. Sounds pretty good. Let's just keep it exactly like that and see if we can make it into a win. All right, opponent goes first, and opponent's gonna ink a queen and go for Cinderella, Ballroom Sensation. So our turn, we pick up a Be Our Guest. Not really what I'm looking for at this point in the game, so I'm gonna ink it. So we reach 1 on 1, we're gonna land a small Stitch. Let's start stitching our strategy together. As we pass the turn back to our opponent, opponent draws. Opponent inks a queen. And then Let the Storm Rage On is going to take out our Stitch, sung thanks to the Ballroom Sensation. And small refresher because the card hasn't played. No, actually, I'm only going to highlight the cards from my deck. We're playing Stitch now. Actually, I do have Ballroom Sensation. Might as well show her. So she allows us to sing quickly. Opponent draws an extra card off of Let the Storm Rage On. And it's turn 2. So opponent is going to land a Robin Hood. Yes. And that's it. As turn passes back to us. Stitch is dead. Sorry about that. Stitch got shot down by Let the Storm Rage On. Opponent drew the card. Stitch is dead. Turn passes back to us, and we find the Muses. The Musing top deck. Suddenly our big Stitch doesn't seem as appealing anymore. So we're going to ink it at this time. Reach our second point of ink. And on 2, that's either record player, which isn't overly useful right now, or Ursula. So we'll land Ursula. Passing the turn back. Opponent draws. On 3, opponent's gonna ink a Cinderella, go to 3, and shift Mr. Robin this turn. And Robin is going to just quest, I think. Questing for 3 for our opponent. So I need to slightly reorganize my play area. Let's do it this way. 3-0. And turn passes back to us. We pick up, painting the roses red. Now we have the decision, Ariel or Ursula. I think we're going to ink 1 copy of Painting the Roses Red. I'm going to 3 and land Ursula, Deceiver of All. We can sing a song with our singer Ursula, but I don't think that does anything. I mean, we can draw a card, but our hand is fine. So we'll just pass the turn back to our opponent. No point in challenging with Ursula, and I don't really want to exert her. Opponent picks up a card. Inks Strength of a Raging Fire. Opponent is now on 4. As our opponent is going to hard cast, then along came Zeus, taking out our Ursula. Just didn't get the time to sing, which is unfortunate. Our opponent gets to simply quest, go to 6. As the turn passes back to us, just keeping our threats off the board. Pick up a big Stitch. I mean, 4's Muses, and 5, I guess, is Ariel plus Record Player, or Painting the Roses Red. Actually, Painting the Roses Red would be pretty good. So I think we ink the Record Player for now. Go to 4 and land our Muses. And on that, I'll just pass the turn back. Actually, wait. Whenever you play a song, you may return chosen character with 2 power or less. I can still sing. I can sing with Ursula. So Ursula is going to sing Painting the Roses Red. So, based on a comment from someone from the last video, I have to resolve Painting the Roses Red first completely before any trigger on the battlefield. So Painting the Roses Red triggers. I give both of our opponent's character -1 power. So Robin's now 2 powered. Then Muses trigger. Whenever you play a song, you may return chosen character at 2 power or less to that player's hand. So we get a bounce back Robin Hood, and we get to draw a card off of an inkable song. #value. And we pick up Cinderella. So Robin goes back to our opponent's hand, including small Robin. Let me know in the comments below if I still made a mistake, but I think this is right. I think this is right based off of the ruling from last video. So pass the turn to our opponent. Opponent picks up a card. Opponent's going to ink small Robin. Go to 5. Recast the Robin that ends it all. And passes the turn back to us. Actually, yeah. Keep the Cinderella for another song. We pick up Lost in the Woods. So we're on 4. Have slight worry of running out of cards issue. So I want to make it to that Stitch. So I'm going to ink Cinderella. Go to 5. Let's go for Ariel. Ariel triggers. We'll look at the top 4 cards of our deck. And we get to find another Lost in the Woods. So we're going to pick that up. And the rest will go to the bottom. I guess we can safely sing it with the Muses. So you can sing it. Lost in the Woods. All opposing characters get -2 until the start of your next turn. They both become weak. Muses trigger. I get to bounce back Robin yet again to our opponent's hand. Alright. And, well, since Cinderella has no more power, I'll quest with Ursula. And pass the turn back. I guess I could have sung with Ursula. End result's pretty much the same, though. Opponent still on 5 is going to ink the world's greatest criminal and land Robin yet again. Last turn passes back to us. And what do we pick up? We pick up another Ariel. Let's go for Ariel. Let's keep on the wombo combo going. 4 cards. Ooh. Find Painting the Roses Red, Bare Necessities, and Under the Sea. And we are on 5 ink. I think I want Painting the Roses Red, since that translates into another card. The rest will go back to the bottom. You get a sing, painting the roses red. Both characters get -1 power. Bounce Robin off of the Muses. Draw a card. Another Stitch. That poor Robin is just back and forth, back and forth. Sherwood? No, you go to jail. Sherwood? No, you go to jail. Muses just, they're doing their thing this game. We're going to ink our Stitch, going all the way to 6th for next turn. Did I double ink? I don't think so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I casted that. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, because last turn I double spelled the Ariel. Yeah, so I think that's fine. And now we can quest. Quest for 2. Go to 3. Slow burn. That's the plan. Passing the turn back to our opponent. Opponent's gonna inky Strength of Raging Fire. Going to 7. And recast Robin, I think. Speaking of an odd hand for our opponent, which I'm going to show you in a sec what our opponent has. The opponent has the option to Whole New World or cast Robin, but the hope is really to just sing it with Robin, otherwise the opponent does nothing and then we get a mid full of cards to do whatever we want with. So I would recast Robin there in that particular position. As the turn passes back, we find Bare Necessities. I didn't really need to reveal the hand, apparently, since we could have just seen it now. Problem with that is Robin has a bit too much power. So for 6, we'd cast Big Stitch. And we're going to sing with Ursula, Lost in the Woods, reduce the power of Robin, bounce Robin, reduce the power of Cinderella, of course. 4 turns in a row. 4. Keep him bouncing. We're the bouncers extraordinaire. Double Ariel Muses are going to quest. We join our opponent at the 6 lore mark and we pass the turn back. Opponent's growing tired a bit of the shenanigans. 7. Hardcast Robin, hardcast Mr. Smee. And that will be it. Since Cinderella has 0 power, no real need to quest. She would just get taken down by Miss Ariel over here on our side. Back to us. We pick up Painting the Roses Red. You know the drill. Painting the Roses Red, reduce Mr. Smee and Robin's power. Draw a card. Got Mother Knows Best, because we're not bouncing enough as it is. Muses trigger will bounce back Robin. Then we're going to... I haven't hardcast anything. I guess I could have hardcasted Painting Roses Red. Gonna hardcast Bare Necessities. Muse trigger. I'll bounce back Mr. Smee, since he has 2 power from the Roses Red. And we get to look at our opponent's hand. We find a pair of Whole New World. Then along came Zeus. Smee and Robin will pick off. Then along came Zeus. And we get to quest for 6 this turn. Going all the way to 12. Passing turn back. Opponent picks up a Sleepy's Flute. Opponent has to try something. Let's go Whole New World. Wow, ink a card and Whole New World. So opponent has 3 ink left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's our opponent going to do with 3? Cast an Ariel Spectacular Singer. Opponent looks at the top 4, finds Grab Your Sword, which is what our singing companions would like to do. In the meantime, we get a midfull. And you can guess how this is going to turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turns out the songs deck needs to keep characters in play in order to sing those cards. Otherwise, it's a lot less powerful. Turn passes back to us. As we pick up an Ursula, Deceiver of All. They're on 6. We can ink something. Let's ink Small Cindy. We can play Be Our Guest. Actually, let's sing it. Sing as much as we can. We bounce back Ariel. No 5 singer for you. It's whenever you play a song. Alright. I really should have highlighted Muses much earlier. Kind of got too much into the gameplay and forgot to highlight the Praiser of Goddesses. As we find Under the Sea and heal what has been hurt. You don't even need Under the Sea here. I mean, let's pick one up, I guess. Pick up the Under the Sea. Wait. Playing a Be Our Guest. Sorry. This is a Stitch. What am I doing? This is an extra Ariel. Alright. Might as well try to bounce that Cinderella. Although, let's see what our opponent has. Ursula, trigger a Stitch, pick up a card. That costs us 2. Pick up another Ursula, and we get to peek at our opponent's hand. Opponent, let's grab your sword, and World's Greatest Criminal has only songs. We'll pick off the grab your sword. No real reason to try and pick off the other card. The opponent is well into the lock at this point. I guess double singing seems like a nice option for next turn. So we can go 3 for Ursula. Let's pick off that last spell. Ursula again. Take out the World's Greatest Criminal. Hand control at its finest. And we pick up a card off of Stitch. And that's 7. We've already inked. And we get to quest for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As our board is getting quite chaotic here. Going all the way to 18. Passing the turn back. Opponent, well, 6 to 18 with no good spells in hand. This is it. The opponent got locked pretty hard. Not much that our opponent can do against this devastating board as we take game 1. Muses locking their stuff up. Let's move on to our second opponent. Ooh, we completely destroy our opponent on the dice roll, so we'll get to go first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we get Painting Roses Red in the pair. Nice Ursula, strike a good match twice. Cinderella. Alright, I like the Cinderella Ursula with 1 Painting Roses Red, 1 strike a good match, but the rest we will mulligan. And we find another Lost in the Wood Ursula, slight improvement since we picked up the bigger Ursula. It's pretty good, especially with striking a good match and painting the roses red. Some good options here. And we get to go first. So we're gonna ink a turn to Ursula and land our Cindy. We'll pass the turn back. One draws a card, inks a Friar Tuck, and passes the turn back. Heal what has been hurt, not what we're looking for this time. Ink Lost in the Woods, go to 2, and Totsy's our opponent. Well, dress. So look at their hand, and there's Let the Storm Rage On, Sudden Chill, and a pair of Ursulas that are going to be quite annoying. with our current hand, do we care more about the hand destruction or let the storm rage on? Let the storm rage on is a big problem. But is it as big as the hand destruction? I think hand destruction's worse. Send away that sudden chill. And we get a quest for 1. Passing the turn back. Opponent picks up a card. It's going to ink a Mr. Smee. Going to 2 and landing Ursula the Deceiver. In the face of Ursula the Deceiver, sees our hand and I'll remove strike a good match. Last turn passes back to us. we top deck another one. Well, ink, heal what has been hurt, and land the Deceiver of All. Seems good. Yeah, I guess we can double quest. Turn passes back to our opponent. Opponent inks a Robin. 3/3. Lands the Deceiver of All. And similarly, Ursula will go to quest. Last turn passes back to us. With the Deceiver of All at the ready. Pick up a big stitch. Alright, well, time to sing. So Ursula's going to sing Strike a Good Match. And we get to double cast it. I should highlight the Deceiver of All. Whenever you sing a song, you can play that song again from your discard for free. Sing it once, pick up an Ariel and Strike a Good Match. We'll discard Stitch. Sing it twice from our discard pile for free. And then I put it on the bottom of my deck. So you get to keep it for more locking potential. Draw 2. And discard 1. I think I don't need the record player right now. I'm still on 3/3. So I guess I can ink one of those. No, actually, let's start by playing Ariel. Play Ariel. Look at the top 4 cards. See if we find something that's more inkable out of those. We find a Mother Knows Best and Under the Sea. I'm quite interested in that Under the Sea for later on. So I'm going to pick that up. Let's go to the bottom. And we're going to ink a Strike a Good Match. Going to 4. And quest for 2. Go to 5. Turn passes back. Opponent's also going to Ursula. And it's Let the Storm Rage On. Double tick our Ursula. Opponent draws 2 cards. Actually, that goes to the bottom of our opponent's deck. Draws 2. Still on 3. What does the opponent play here? I think opponent is going to ink a Mr. Smee. Go to 4. Opponent's going to land a big Flynn Rider. I guess I should probably highlight that Flynn. And I was going to originally stick to my deck, but see, I kind of need to refresh myself what that Flynn does. Flynn Rider, 2/3, evasive, 4 pips, but -1 pip for every card in our hand. As the other Ursula is going to quest for 1. Go to 2, passing the turn back to us. We pick up Record Player. Record Player is quite nice, but I need to make it to 8. So that's going to get inked. We go to 5. I kind of need to take out the Deceiver of All. So Ariel and Ursula are going to challenge her, take her out. Actually, let's hardcast this. Hardcast Painting the Roses Are Red. Targeting Ursula and small Ursula. Pick up a card. It's a big stitch. Then have Ursula and Ariel challenge Ursula, both taking 1 point of damage because we've reduced her power. That makes it harder for the opponent to take us out. And Ursula has no power. I think the lore is a bit more important here, so I'll go to 6. And yeah, I think that's it. I'll pass the turn back. Opponent draws. Opponent has 5 cards in hand. We have 3, so Flynn only has 1 pip. I should highlight Painting the Roses Are Red. Painting the Roses Red. No R. Although there's an R in red. If you know what I mean. Just a nice little cantrip style card. Opponent's going to ink a Friar Tuck. Go to 5 as well. And opponent is going to go, yeah, actually this. Beast. Tragic Hero. And Flynn can quest for 1, so we might as well do a challenge. It's going to take out Ariel. Take 2 points of damage in the transaction. And Ursula will just quest because there's no good challenge. Turn passes back to us. We draw. Small Ursula. Here, unfortunately, I think I have to ink Strike a Good Match to land Big Stitch. Fortunately, I can't do anything about that Beast or that Flynn. So I'm just going to quest. Make it to 8. Passing the turn back. Ooh. That sends chills down my spine. Top deck of Sudden Chill. As the opponent is holding on to Prince John. Casting 3. It's going to hardcast the Flynn Rider as well for the rest of their ink. Forgot Beast Trigger, extra card. And Ursula is going to cast Sudden Chill, meaning that we have to discard a card. It's going to have to be Under the Sea. I think it has to be Under the Sea. Although Under the Sea could get us out of this. Opponent draws a card off of Prince John. And yeah, Flynn gets to quest for 3. Beast gets to quest for 2. So 3 for Flynn, 2 for Beast. The rest are just waiting for their ink to dry. As the turn passes back to us. We top deck an Ariel. Alright. Let's see what we top deck off of Ursula first. So Ursula, Stitch Trigger. Pick up a card. Painting the Roses Red. Alright. Let's go Ariel. Ariel triggers. We find Lost in the Woods and Be Our Guest. Lost in the Woods, we can weaken all of our opponent's characters. Can quest for 1, 2, 3. The next turn we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Would be just shy of a win. Or we can empty our hand because there's a Prince John there, which is a little bothersome. Could ink this, sing Lost in the Woods, be empty-handed, and the opponent having no combat next turn. Let's do that. Lost in the Woods. Send the other ones to the bottom of our deck. We get the first quest, so we're gonna sing Lost in the Woods. Reduce all of our opponent's combat power by 2 until the end of their next turn. Gonna ink Painting the Roses red. Go to 7. And quest for 3. Although, is that too much of a sacrifice? Well, we'll see. Pretty sure that wasn't the right play, but I don't want to take 2 minutes to think about it. I'll pass the turn back to our opponent. Opponent draws a card off of Beast. Nah, would not have mattered anyways. Strength for Raging Fire, targeting Stitch, sung by... I think the opponent just wants to quest a ton, so just hardcast. Play Captain Hook, and quest with the gang. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oops. I regret my decision. Bare Necessities is not going to get us out of this. We got the quest for 1, 2, 3, 4. Go to 15. Make it a bit of a closer game. But we will lose to the, I was going to say, overwhelming presence of just the mishmash of cards. Yes, we just got out-tempoed. We ran out of steam. Is what happened. And we couldn't take down opponent characters. We couldn't get our lock going, and we couldn't reach enough ink to cast Under the Sea and just sweep these to the sea. At least we couldn't do it in time, but 1 win, 1 lost. Not so bad. Let's see what happens in game 3. Let's go play against our third opponent. As our opponent wins the dice roll. Let's see what we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Too many stitches. Too many stitches records. So we're gonna send a lot of those back. We definitely want the Ursula. So I'll send 3 back. We find Under the Sea, another Deceiver of All, and be our guest. Alright, seems better. But our opponent has the honors of going first. Opponent inks an Isma and lands a Chernobog's follower. His turn passes right back to us. We find an Ursula Thought Caesar. I mean, I think I have to ink the Stitch and just pass the turn. Based on our previous games, we tend to be quite ink intensive. Opponent inks a Kooky Chameleon. Plays, well, quests for 1. As the turn passes back to us, we find a big Stitch, of course, right after we ink the small Stitch. Well, let's let it go for now. Let's ink big Stitch. Go to 2 ourselves and land. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Ursula Deceiver. What does our opponent have to work with? Maui Merlin, pair of mini surfers, and a Chernobog follower. Alright. No hit there. Then we'll pass the turn. Opponent picks up a new card. Chernobog's follower goes to the ink. And it's a stylish surfer's turn. As the snake goes to quest. 2 to 0. Our turn. We find the Muses. Record player is going to go to the ink. And we're going to play the Deceiver of All. And I don't really dare quest with our Ursula Deceiver for now. We want to lock. Don't necessarily want to lose characters. So I'll pass the turn back. Opponent plays a card drawing Maleficent, picks up a new card. I'm just going to ink it. A Crabby Merlin. Double quest, 3 lore, going to 5. Alright. Back to us. We find another Ursula Deceiver. Perfect card to ink at this point. Actually, our opponent's playing Ruby Amethyst, and this thing gets rid of Be Prepared. So maybe I should keep that. Maybe it's the Deceiver of All I don't really need now. Yeah, let's ink our Ursula Deceiver of All. We go to 4. And now we have some fun. Because we get a Muses. And Muses are amusing. Because we get to bounce a bunch of things back. So Ursula Deceiver of All gets to cast twice. Painting the Roses red. Cast it once. Actually, let me highlight. You must be more familiar with the Deceiver of All. So, Painting the Roses red. Up to 2 characters get -1 this turn and draw a card. And Deceiver of All, whenever you sing a song, you play it again. In combination with, I guess I should highlight the highlight of the deck, the Muses. Whenever you play a song, you may return chosen character with 2 power or less to that player's hand. So Roses red resolves first. Choose 2 characters, Mim Snake and Minnie. I get to draw a card. Then Muses trigger. I get to bounce back a character that's going to meet the Minnie. Ursula gets me to cast it again. I cast it again. Targeting Min Snake and Maleficent. Min Snake now has the lower power. I draw a card. Picking up a Stitch. Muses trigger. Let's bounce back that Mim Snake back into our opponent's hand. And this goes to the bottom of my deck. This is fun stuff. And 4, well, that is our Muses. So we can sing more stuff. I mean, this seems fun. But do we keep it for next turn? I think we want to keep it for next turn. So I think we just quest with the small Ursula. Go to 1. Pass the turn back to our opponent. Opponent picks up a card. Inks a Stylish Surfer. Goes to 5. On 5, opponent has Maui. Wasn't expecting that. I guess I wasn't really looking at what our opponent had in hand. Takes on our Deceiver of All. I guess that's why you folks are voting Maui as being one of the top characters in the game. Maui's a bit of a problem. I'll say that. Maleficent will quest. Go to 6. And we get the turn back. Find another Ursula. So Maui's a problem because most of our removal is bounce style. And we really can't exert the Muses. Now that we've lost our Deceiver of All, we're in a bit of a pickle. We can cast Mother Knows Best, bounce Maui Maleficent off of the Muses. But then what? Then I really want to land Stitch. Guess I want to Under the Sea. Under the Sea would get rid of Maui if I can get his power down enough. But that's no easy feat. I guess I can just waste my opponent's time. Play Mother Knows Best, double bounce. Then play Ursula. Add more board presence. But I really need Stitch. Let's go to slow route. Ink be our guest. This is so tempting. Whatever. Hard cast. Target Maui, Muses trigger. Target Maleficent. The double bounce. Yeah, I know, I just gave back Maui all its health and Maleficent its card draw power. But I've cleared the board. And obviously I can't quest because of the threat of Maui. Passing the turn back to our opponent. Opponent is on 5, so ink a Merlin. Go to 6. And with 6, our opponent is going to go with Mini Surfer and Maleficent, picking up a card. Turn passes back to us since there's nothing to challenge. We pick up an Ursula. Things just don't line up. I really need to play an Ursula because I need to thought seize my opponent's hand, make sure there's no Be Prepared coming. I need to ink a card so I can play Stitch. And I can't do all of these things and keep food for Stitch for next turn. So I'm going to do it anyways. So I would start with playing Ursula, looking at our opponent's hand, making sure there's no Be Prepared. And there is none. Actually, there's no hit at all. Then we get to ink an Ursula. Go to 6. And we pass the turn back. Maybe I should have just played the Stitch, knowing that the opponent doesn't have to Be Prepared. Maleficent's going to sing Friends. Friends on the other side picks up 2 cards. I guess I should show this Ursula again. So opponent still hasn't played anything for the turn. And our Muses is guarded with Ward from a Madame Medusa, so that's not a big problem. Our big Stitch though is gonna take a beating on her, from her. Opponent inks a Maleficent. And it's going to go for a Merlin Bunny, pick up a card. Mim Fox, pick up the Merlin, pick up a card. So many cards. Opponent has 8 cards in hand to our measly 3. As the Stylish Surfer is going to go to Quest, bringing it 8-1. Our turn. Pick up a card. Ariel. Ariel's nice, but we do need a better card draw engine because we're getting outcarded severely here. Under the Sea is good, but it's not going to be enough. And if we land our Stitch, we're going to be Medusa fodder. So let's Ariel. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we find Painting the Roses red and Be Our Guest. Painting the Roses, they're both pretty good. I don't know. Be Our Guest can find us a Ursula. Let's pick up the Be Our Guest. Send the other ones to the bottom. So that is 3. We might as well play it. Play Be Our Guest. Look at the top for cards. Looking for character. We find a small Stitch. Not quite what we're looking for. Still going to the bottom of our deck. Then we have 1 ink left. Guess we're gonna keep it for a Stitch next turn, maybe. Alright, and Muses trigger will bounce back the mini off of Be Our Guest. Turn passes back to our opponent. Opponent sings Friends. Cards, unlimited cards. That's what our opponent likes to see. Merlin Bunny. Opponent inks a monkey. Goes to 8. Lands Mini Pascal and quests with the fox, I guess. As turn passes back, find a record player. Record player is good for getting rid of that Maui or getting it into range from the Muses, but Maui is a definite problem. We're on 6. Let's ink our record player. start doing some stitch stuff. Play the big stitch, play the small stitch, pick up a card. Find Bare Necessities. Can sing away the mini. Yeah. Don't want to get Be Prepared. So Bare Necessities. Let's see what you've got, opponent. Opponent has Maui. Actually, let's put it this way. Maui, Maui, Maui. Madame Medusa. And some other stuff. So we completely miss on the songs front. Not a good matchup for the Bare Necessities and the Ursulas. Although there's friends on the other sides and Be Prepared. It's useful in denying Be Prepared. And then Muses trigger will bounce the mini. And I guess we can quest with Ursula and Ariel. We're gonna get Maui'd to death. I'll just pass the turn back. It's probably good because I'm running out of board space. His opponent is going to ink Irafiki, because why not? Goes to 9. Seeing we only have 2 cards in hand, I'm just going to nuke the board. Top deck, Be Prepared. No need to mess around. Opponent draws a card off of the bunny. And our board is dead. Goodbye, Muses. You were amusing, but not enough. And opponent has 2, so nothing left. Turn passes back to us. And our hand looks silly now. We'll land our Ursula. Thought sees our opponent. Opponent reveals a stack of cards. Now with a Lady Tremaine added to the mix. As we'll pass the turn, opponent is on 9 inks. Doesn't matter. A Mim Snake. Goes to 10. Lands Tremaine, forcing us to sacrifice Ursula, as well as a mini. Turn passes back to us. Find Painting the Roses red. We'll ink Lost in the Woods. And we'll pass the turn back. Opponent finds some more stuff. Bunny. Bunny. Inks a Cusco. On 11 ink. Quest for 4. Going to 13. So 8 used. And a crab for no reason. Turn passes back to us. Alright, well, we'll land it at least once. Under the Sea. Put all opposing characters with 2 or less power to the bottom of their deck. We hit the mini and the Merlins. Goodbye. And the Merlins still trigger. But we got to play Under the Sea at least once. One draws 2 off of the bunnies. And we'll just concede. I mean, we have a record player painting the roses are red, and the opponent has a mid full of card. So far ahead on lore. I don't see a real reason to play it out. So we concede the game to the Mauis and Be Prepared. Mauis are deceptively hard to come back from, which is unfortunate. Otherwise, the lock was pretty good. If the opponent didn't have Mauis, we would have had a pretty good lock there. It's time to look at Muses' lock in review. And there's quite a lot of take-homes from this exercise. So the first one is Muses' Proclaimer of Heroes. It's a very solid card. I think this thing's the real deal and is going to see play later on. Bounce control with Muses. I think it's the real deal. I think this list is wrong though. And why? Because we should not be playing Under the Sea. Under the Sea... Well, first of all, I forgot that we could sing together in the gameplay, as you've probably realized, and you've written comments below. Come on, Yoshi, there was a nice opportunity. Why didn't you sing it? Because I forgot. I don't think it would have mattered that much, to be honest. We get completely outcarded against Ruby Amethyst, and it got stuck in our hand more often than I would have liked. So Under the Sea I would trim. Muses, very solid. The Stitch package, there was never a good time to play Record Player, so Record Player should go out, as well as the Small Stitch, Big Stitch. Trying to get to the 6 ink was actually a strain on the deck, and trying to reach the 8 forced us to ink a bunch of cards that we don't really want to ink. Things that did work well. So Ursula, Ariel into Muses is a triangle of very powerful characters that synergize together extremely well. Ursula on turn 3, that's uncontested, and then you drop Muses double sing on turn 4 is devastating. I mean, Ursula by herself is already devastating if you leave her alone, but if you drop the Muses on top, it really hurts the opponent's game plan. And especially against an aggressive deck or a creature-based metagame, it's very strong. Ariel replaces herself, so even if you go Ariel and then Muses, and Muses have that that ward ability, which is pretty strong. So that was good. Ursula, Deceiver of Songs in Hand, very powerful in this deck because we just want a sing enabler. And she also allows us to peek at her opponent's hand, kind of plan around it. So that core of Ursula, Ariel, Ursula, Muses played pretty well. Painting the Roses Red, highlight spell of the deck. One of the best songs, allowing us to bounce that Robin turn after turn. Lost in the Woods performed fairly well. I'm not sure it's a mainstay in the deck. It's probably worth a couple of inclusions. Maybe it's worth the full playset, especially if we can get another card like Muses in these ink types to really make use of the payoffs. Because if we cut Under the Sea, the Muse is really the only card that benefits from weakening the opponent's characters. And maybe we don't need to be playing Lost in the Woods. Maybe we just leverage the Painting the Roses Red and then use the full power of Ursula, Ariel, maybe in the more aggressive list. Maybe that's the route we should be going. Just go for more aggression early and then lock the opponent out of dealing with our aggressive characters using their own characters. Then suddenly they must use their removal spells, and then they run out of removal spells for your Ursula the Deceiver. And we do get quite a good flow of cards. Strike a good match, always pretty nice at finding cards. Again, Painting the Roses Red, quite a good option as well. Bear Guess is fine. I mean, it's a trigger, it replaces itself. Then we get to sing it with Ursula. So I'm not sure what to do about the earlier pieces of the curve. Maybe we just skip them. Maybe just skip the 1-drops. We have enough mainstay power on the battlefield. But that core, that center core here, is very good. We just need a better plan for the late game and some good replacements for these things. Maybe I'll try myself with another list with Shimmering Skies and see what the set brings that could benefit from the deck. I think Ember Emerald Songs has potential, and the Muses is solid inclusion in that deck. This is not the list, although if you want to build around that core, then try your own version. I'd highly encourage you to do that. It's a lot of fun to play, especially if the opponent's not playing Ruby Amethyst. We probably need some kind of game plan against that deck, or we just concede that matchup and try to deal with the rest of the metagame. It's also a valid game plan. Depends on what you're expecting at your local tournament, or whether you just want to have fun. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this video and this different take on the deck with Muses Lock. Let me know in the comments below. I don't know, Shimmering Skies, something, or Muses, whatever amuses you. And don't forget to subscribe, leave a thumbs up or two, and I will see you next time.